In the news this week, missing persons' families outraged over opposition's legislation committee referrals.
Plus, don't get caught. New point-to-point speed cameras to curb road tolls.
And on Western Perspective, Carl Callahan bids farewell after 13 years as Police Commissioner.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Leung and Danielle Staniskov.
Good evening. The No Body, No Parole legislation is at the centre of controversy after the opposition referred the bill to the committee in the upper house. Families of the missing loved ones expressed their dismay over the decision. Jacinta Payne begins our coverage.
The No Body, No Parole legislation has been sent to committee by the upper house this week. Premier Mark McGowan had strong words about this decision.
The Liberals and Nationals were grossly irresponsible in deferring that legislation, which has overwhelming support. We're elected on, and they've given support to convicted murderers in what they've done, and I just think they should hang their heads in shame.
Labor believes this legislation will bring closure to families by denying parole to convicted murderers until they disclose the location of their victims' remains. However, the opposition disagrees, saying it won't make any difference.
All that this legislation will do at best is to confirm what is an existing practice. So it's not changing anything materially or unlikely to.
Families of victims continue to support the legislation and are upset at this development.
And I made an oath that day that I came forward. I will be the voice for every victim still living that cannot come forward, because it is amazingly hard to live with day by day.
Jacinta Payne, WAMN News.
The war against speeding drivers has scaled up, with the state government officially switching on the point-to-point speed camera along Forest Highway. But will it be enough to deter young drivers from speeding? Nelson Liu takes a look.
Speed remains a factor among young drivers, with concerns young people won't change their speeding habits on WA roads. Despite the introduction of point-to-point cameras on Forest Highway next month, there are beliefs young people will continue driving recklessly.
I think it's going to take a while before you see effects of that, because it's just going to be a shock for people when they first get a bill that they're not expecting.
I don't think a speed camera is going to make a great deal of difference to them dropping 2 or 3 kilometres, to be honest.
A third of 195 deaths were speed-related last year, while reckless driving, carelessness and alcohol caused 80% of youth car crashes. 3 people died, including a 6-year-old on Indian Ocean Drive this week, despite government strategies to improve road safety. The state government says their main focus is saving lives on the roads, but there are concerns their strategy is being affected by revenue raising. But Michelle Roberts says money isn't a factor.
This isn't about revenue raising, it's not about giving people a triple hit and perhaps getting them for speeding at each end.
If the cameras are successful, they'll be rolled out in other locations in the future.
We've got expectations, but we want some time to actually look at the effectiveness of this.
Nelson Liu, WAMN News.
The dual citizenship scandal plaguing Australia's federal parliament is ongoing, with Nick Xenophon raising the tally to 7 involved politicians. Ian Cook, senior political lecturer at Murdoch University, explains why this won't affect our state MPs.
The part of the problem is that the regulations or the provisions is written into the Constitution, which means you can't change them easily. At the state level, we don't have constitutions with that sort of status. So, there's nothing to sort of preclude anyone at the state level from being a dual citizen.
It's understood that Senator Xenophon has referred his citizenship matter to the Federal High Court.
The consultation of the $100 million Murdoch project is launched after the Row 8 project has been scrapped. The project proposes an extension of Murdoch Drive to Farrington Road with a flyover Farrington into a double roundabout. Melville Mayor Russell Albury says his council has been ignored in the planning.
To the liking of the City of Melville, and I think a lot of the residents in Colburn as well are very, very concerned about what's happening in terms of the segregation of their community.
Look, this is about sharing the load between all people south of the river. And, OK, they can Row 8. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's going to impact on everyone south of the river.
Perth is set to host the toughest obstacle race in the world, with the inaugural Spartan Asia Pacific Championship in November. The event is expected to bring competitors from Singapore, Malaysia, Japan and the United States, and is to generate $1.46 million for the state. WA Tourism Minister Paul Papalier is optimistic that the event will boost the local economy.
We're reaching out to all of those participants to the north of us, to the market that we need to tap into to grow our tourism visitor numbers and create jobs in Western Australia. So it's a win-win. Spartan event gets to have the best location in the world to have an event, and Perth and Western Australia get to have more visitors and grow jobs.
ISIS have reportedly claimed responsibility for a terror attack in Spain that has left 16 reported dead and hundreds injured. A van has ploughed into pedestrians at a popular tourist street in Barcelona in an attack similar to London earlier this year and Nice, France last year. Another senior staffer has quit the Trump administration following the president's remark on white supremacist protest. It was reported that far-right strategist Steve Bannon was planning to resign earlier this month. However, the rally in Virginia has forced Mr. Bannon to stay on longer in order to deal with the aftermath. Both Democrat and Republican parties have criticised Donald Trump's comments.
And finally this week, Community Aussie Rules is in full swing with Fremantle's very own Derby Day held during the weekend. The CBC Green team took on the CBC Gold team during the one-hour match. Despite the sport's community level, coaches from both sides say the game is still very competitive.
We were very, very accurate compared to the other team. I think they missed more goals because our pressure in our backline was just fantastic.
I mean, at the end of the day, even though we lost, we're still both from the one club, and it was really great that they got up and had a win. So I'm pretty happy with the way that they performed.
Despite the CBC Gold team beats the Green team 62-37, they finished 5th on the integrated ladder, and the season is over.
And that's our weekly news and current affairs. You can follow the latest by visiting our website or liking our Facebook page. Take care.
Very good evening to you. Good night.